if you get fixated on cost, you won't move forward. And for me, that when I look back at that was difficult in my head to go, £3,000 for an accountant, that's a lot of money for you telling HMRC what I'm making without that understanding of it. Where now I understand the benefit of that. So get your assets to pay for your lifestyle. Get your assets to pay for your lifestyle. So if you get money and just spend it versus placing it into an asset, okay? So if you can buy assets, guys, and build them up, and them assets can now pay for your lifestyle. We getting it? And people are doing it every single day. People are making decisions, not just with cars, not just with training, but in their businesses is a massive one. The amount of people that I see, is there anyone in the room that's got their own business that, I don't know, you can make, say, £1,000 in a day in your construction work? Okay? Is there any of you guys making £1,000 a day and you're wearing multiple hats, doing your own invoices and stuff like that? Come on, be honest with me. Okay, quite a few of you, so maybe 7, 8 of you. How much time do you spend on doing your invoices and the other crap where you're not being productive? You tell me. I don't know. You tell me. How many days a week? What does it average out at? 10 hours a week? Okay. So, in order to get someone to do that admin work, let's say it was 15 quid times 10, that's your number, is how much a week? 150 quid? Okay, times that by 52, 7,800. Okay, so if it's 10 hours a week, that's 1 day a week. Agree? Okay, so 1 day a week times by 52 weeks, how many days did you lose? How much could you make in a day? Do the maths. So because you're fixated on that as a cost to bring someone in your business, that's 7,800, it's costing you how much? 52,000. That's because you're paralysed on cost, not ROI. So everything that I look at, I'm looking at what is that leverage? What's the Pareto principle in terms of what's the 20% that produces me the 80%? I don't care what something costs, guys. Question for you. How much do you think I spend on my accountancy bills? 15? 10? More? 12? 50? Keep going. I spend around about £100,000 a year on my accountancy fees. So the only reason you're making that noise of oof is what? Because you've got your head on cost still. You've still got your head on cost. Okay? So when I had, I first set up my construction business and I had an accountant. I spoke with my cousin because he's an accountant and he just said, Steve, this is dreadful for your accountant to not be picking up on some of these things. You're at a level now you need a bigger accountant. They're not the cheapest, but these guys are good. So the guy came in the room. At the time I was paying about 700-800 quid or something like that. And this guy sits in front of me and he wants 3 grand. And in my head I'm like, fucking hell, like, it's another 4 times more than what I'm paying. Like, what the hell are you gonna do for that? And he comes in, he has a look at some of my stuff, and straight away highlights things. He says, you've got a construction company here, and it's in your own personal name. Do you know what that means? And I said, no. And he said, well, if one of your lads drops a brick on site and it falls on someone's head, and you get sued, he said, if your insurance doesn't pay out, you're going to be liable. So you see this nice house you've got here and that nice car on the drive, they're going to be coming for that. And I was like, shit, what should I be doing? And he said, you should have this in a limited company. I didn't know what it was, guys. I was naive to it. You don't know what you don't know. So straight away he was like, we need to protect this. That needs to be ring fenced there. We need to do that with that. We're not being efficient here. We've got this VAT issue that we need to deal with as well. So they took over my accounts. They wrote to the VAT department, said he's been badly advised, laid it out. And they actually managed to get rid of my VAT bill straight away, the penalty. They managed to write that off, which was a massive saving within itself straight away. As soon as they come into my business, they went, "Are you aware of these grants here? You could be tapping into that there." And I was like, "No, I'm not aware of that." Straight away, 2 members of my staff, they were able to get me 30 odd grand in grants. They just paid for their accountancy fees for 10 years by coming into the business and saying you could be tapping into this. If you get fixated on cost, you won't move forward. And for me, that when I look back at that was difficult in my head to go, £3,000 for an accountant, that's a lot of money for you, just putting that, telling HMRC what I'm making without that understanding of it. Where now I understand the benefit of that. So, because I'm completely transparent, guys, and I want you all to improve. You know my model, I've told you it, that if I give you enough value, you will want to come back and work with me anyway. So this is the level of data that I have now to my fingertips. I know how many people, so on our Facebook ads, I know what that'll cost per person to click on those ads. And I know out of how many people that click on those ads will book onto a call or will turn up to an actual event. And I know how many people on them calls and how many people on those events will actually end up in this room. I know every pound I put in that machine, how much comes back out the other end. So what are you going to do? If every time you put a pound in there, it give you 2 back out, what are you going to do? Put more pounds in there, agree? Okay, because you know, I put that in there and that's what comes out the other end. So, the level of data that I have, guys, across my businesses, our financial controller stands here once a month and they report on the whole of the business. So they report on 13-week cash flow, they report on our margins, the report on money received, money going out, group cash, the report on the assets, the liabilities, if any of the margins are changing, any of the numbers are changing, and I have my finger on that pulse at all times, and I have guys looking at that information, and they know exactly what we need to do, how we need to change something, how we need to adapt. So is that 100 grand a lot now when it's running multiple multi-million-pound businesses? Cost or ROI?